Hello, everyone. My name is Melvin Muna, and I'm your host for tonight's webinar. I hope I'm loud and clear. And if you're having trouble hearing me, please let me know in the chat so that I can adjust my volume. I wanted also to let you know that there is the option for French interpretation for this webinar. So if you understand French better than English, you can switch to the French live interpretation. To do this, scroll to the bottom of your screen and select the language there. Select French and you will be able to access the live French interpretation. Thank you so much for making time to be with us today. It's an honor to be here with all of you, for making time to attend this webinar on how to craft a compelling cover letter. Okay, so I will now share my screen so that we can get started. Yeah, I hope my screen is visible to everyone. Yes, so if you're having trouble with viewing my screen, please share in the chat and we will sort that out. I also wanted to let you know that this is the third webinar. We'll have another webinar in 3 weeks' time. So we are using these webinars to choose a winner for our Remote Opportunities Challenge. And we will choose this winner based on how you participate on this webinar, through comments, through asking questions, through how you perform in the quiz. We'll have a quiz at the end of this webinar, so stick around. We'll use the performance, how you perform in that quiz, to gauge who will win our Remote Opportunities Challenge, for the opportunity to receive one-on-one coaching from myself on how to excel as a remote worker. So please feel free to use the chat. Feel free to ask questions if you need a clarification on anything, and I'll gladly deal with it. So our webinar today is on how to write a cover letter to land a remote job. I just also wanted to share that while the tips I'm sharing in this webinar are tailored to remote jobs, the knowledge and the information I'm sharing can be applied even when you're applying for a normal job that is based in a physical location. So don't feel like you can't use this information. You can't use this information to other jobs that are not remote. The information will assist you in your remote job applications. The information will assist you with other applications for opportunities that are not based remotely. So don't feel restricted, just be open-minded and take in all the information that you feel is useful in your quest to land a job. Okay, so just a few reminders. Keep your microphone off if you're not talking, if you're not asking a question. So please make sure your microphone is off, because those background noises can disrupt the progress of this webinar. And if you have a question, feel free to use the chat. I'll answer these questions at the end of the webinar, but if it's a pressing question, Dasha will let me know and I will deal with that question right away. So my name is Melvin Muna. I am from Kenya. I am a remote work specialist and consultant with more than 7 years of experience as a remote worker. I've worked with several international organizations, performing roles such as digital marketer, agribusiness consultant, SEO specialist, speechwriter, and others. I'm passionate about Africa and the youth, and I believe that remote opportunities present a viable opportunities for the youth of Africa to gain useful employment, to earn a living, and grow professionally. So I'm happy to be here with you, sharing about my journey as a remote worker and sharing tips that you can use to excel as a remote worker. Okay, so this is what we'll cover today. Our webinar will have 2 parts. The first part will be on understanding the purpose of a cover letter and how to structure it properly, how to create a compelling cover letter that will land you an interview. Remember, the purpose of a cover letter is to get you closer to landing your dream job. And before that, you'll have to go through a review. So it's your cover letter that will convince the hiring manager to call you for an interview so that they can learn more about you, they can learn more about your skills, your experiences, and how you can contribute to that organization. Then we'll have part 2, I'll share tips on how to craft a compelling cover letter. And I'll also share things that you should exclude, things that don't be in your cover letter. And lastly, I will share with you a template, a CV template, a cover letter template that you can use to craft your own cover letter. So please, the webinar will last an hour, so please stick to the end so that you can get this template. I'll be sharing it at the end of the webinar. So let's get started right away, understanding the purpose of a cover letter. So remote jobs are becoming very popular, and this means that they are attracting a lot of applications. Many people want these jobs. And for you to stand out, a cover letter is a great way to tell a potential employer and hiring manager that I am suitable for particular jobs. With a cover letter, you can add color to what's missing from your resume. Remember, your resume is not supposed to be long, so it's not supposed to contain so much information, but what was not highlighted in detail in your resume, you can use your cover letter to share some of the things that were not present there. You can include your background, you can include your skills and expertise, and explain in details. Remember, with the CV, you are using bullet points to highlight the tasks you performed in your previous employments. With a cover letter, now you get the chance to get into details about the job that you did, so that you can share your skills and experiences with the hiring manager and convince them that you are the perfect candidate for that job. You can also, your CV will also help you stand out and beat other candidates who are after the same job that you want. So here is why a cover letter is important. One, it allows you gives you the opportunity to introduce yourself. A cover letter serves as a personal introduction, allowing you to present yourself to the employer and express your interest in the job. Okay. Another importance of why a CV is important nowadays is not a CV, a cover letter. Why it's important is it gives you the opportunity to highlight your qualifications. You already did this in your CV, but you are now using your cover letter to bring to share more details about the tasks that you did in your previous employment and highlight the skills that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. Sometimes people have one CV, they don't tailor it to the job they're applying for. So if your CV you had not tailored your CV to the job that you're applying for, you can use a cover letter to show how you bear relevant skills to the job that you're applying for. Okay, so a cover letter is also important because it gives you the opportunity to show that you understand the company that you're working for and you understand the role that you're applying for. It's very important to show that you align with the values of the company that you want to work for. So with a well-crafted cover letter, you can show that you have researched about the company, you understand their values and goals, and you can show how you fit into all of that. Remember, nowadays, organizations are very specific about the people they bring on board. They want people who match their values. They want people who understand and fit into their culture. So you can use your cover letter to demonstrate how you fit into that. A cover letter is also important because you can use it to explain, specifically for remote jobs, you can use the cover letter to show your motivation for remote work. Okay, a cover letter gives you the chance to express the reasons why you want and are seeking a remote job. It could be you desire more work flexibility, you want to improve a better work-life balance. So use your cover letter for this remote job that you're applying for to express the reasons why you're seeking a remote job. Okay. And a cover letter also gives you the opportunity to differentiate yourself from other applicants for the same position that you're applying for. remote jobs are very competitive. They are lucrative. They have nice working arrangements. They attract so many people, and they're all qualified just as you are. So you can use your cover letter to show how different you are, to show what makes you better than the other candidates that want the same position. So you will showcase your unique qualifications, your enthusiasm for the role, and how you understand, and to show that you understand the company's values and how you fit into them. You can also use your cover letter to address potential concerns, okay? Sometimes your CV doesn't share so much because the way it's been structured, it doesn't have space for explanations. So you can use your cover letter to address concerns like gaps in your application or a career change. Let me share my own example. I studied telecommunication engineering at the university, but I'm not doing anything related to that. So when I'm applying for jobs and opportunities, I use my cover letter to say why I'm doing this career change. It's because I'm passionate about something else than what I studied. So your cover letter gives you the opportunity to address those concerns. Okay, so now that you know the importance of a cover letter, let's take a look at what recruiters and employers look for in a cover letter. It's important to understand the expectations that recruiters and employers have, because it gives you the opportunity to tailor your cover letter and make a positive impression that will increase your chances of getting selected for an interview. Recruiters and employers, when they're assessing cover letters, they have something at the back of their mind that they're looking for. So if you know what these things are, you can be able to tailor your application to create that positive impressions that will make you look like the candidate that they're after. Okay, so here is what recruiters and employers are looking for in a cover letter. One, they're looking for relevance. They want to see that the cover letter that you've sent is tailored to specific job and company. Okay, they want to see that you've taken time to research the role, to understand the organization and what you'll be performing, the roles that you'll be performing should you get selected for that job. Some people have one cover letter that they use for all the applications. It's like they are trying, it's like betting. You put several bets hoping that one goes through, and they take this act when applying for jobs. It's the wrong way to approach job applications. Don't use the same cover letter for all the jobs that you're applying for. Tailor your cover letter to the specific job and the company. Specific job and the company that you want to, that you're applying for. So if the manager sees that, they can tell because they know what their company stands for. And if your cover letter doesn't capture that, they'll see that, no, this cover letter is not relevant to this application. Probably the candidate is sharing the same CV for all the jobs he or she is applying for. So that is one way they will rule you out for a job. So another thing that recruiters are looking for when assessing cover letters is the skills and experiences that you possess. Okay, so when they post a job application, they will share the skills that they're looking for, the experiences that they expect candidates to have. So you can use your cover letter to show that you have the skills and the experience that they are looking for, okay? So you need to show that you've performed or you have the capacity to perform in that role that you're applying for, and you've delivered impressive results previously, and you are willing to take this to the job that you're applying for. So use your cover letter to show that you have the skills and experiences that potential employers are looking for. The recruiters are also looking for your enthusiasm and motivation for the job that you're applying for. They want to know that you are genuinely interested in the job and that company. Organizations want people who are passionate. they're passionate about working for that organization because they know that these people, they will go out of their way to deliver and give and bring the desired results. So they use the cover letter to see how motivated and enthusiastic you are about that job and also about that organization. So this is where understanding the company's values is important, because you can use that to show how you fit in and how you can contribute to the success of the organization that you are applying for. You should also use your cover letter to show that if for a remote role that you're applying for, you can use your cover letter to show that I'm excited and passionate about working remotely, and I'd be glad to take up this position because it will give me the opportunity to experience all the benefits of remote work. So that's one thing they're looking for, recruiters, your enthusiasm and motivation for the role. They're also looking at professionalism. How professional is your cover letter? Your cover letter should be written in a professional tone. It should be free of errors like spellings and grammar. It should also be well and properly structured and easy to read. Okay, all the sections that a cover letter should have, your cover letter should contain them. I will be sharing this later on, but it's important to know that your cover letter should be well structured, should be easy to read, a clear introduction. It should have a nice and properly structured body and a conclusion where you get to thank the recruiter for taking time to consider your application. Okay, so another thing they're also taking into consideration when assessing cover letters is personality. Okay, so recruiters also want to get a sense of personality. Who are you? And you can use how you, the way you write your cover letter to share your personality. Okay, so give them a glimpse of your personality, of your voice, of the things that you're passionate about. Don't just write bluntly. Put some effort to ensure that your voice is evident in the cover letter. It shouldn't appear that this is something that I downloaded of the internet, because if you want a cover letter for a particular job, you can get that online right now. There are so many examples that you can pick and edit. So they want to see your personality, they want your voice, they want to see that, and these are the things that make you stand out. So don't hide your personality, let it shine, but to a certain extent, don't go overboard. They're also checking they're also checking for attention to detail. And this is concerns about formatting and consistency. You need to make sure your cover letter is written well, structured properly, and it doesn't have obvious grammar and spelling mistakes. Okay, so to ensure you don't send a cover letter with mistakes, take time to proofread before sending, or you can have someone, like a mentor, do that for you. Okay, so those are the things that recruiters are looking for when assessing a cover letter. So let me just go over them briefly. They're looking at relevance. So they want to see that your cover letter is tailored to the specific job and company. They're looking at your experience and skills. They want to see that you have the advertising for. They want to see that you have the desired experience to perform the role that awaits you should you land the job. They also want to see your enthusiasm and motivation. They want to see that you are eagerly looking forward to working for that organization and performing the roles that the roles for that job. Okay, they're also looking at your professionalism, the way you structure your CV. They're also looking at your personality. They want to see your voice, and also they are also checking if you are keen when sending your CV to ensure there are no obvious mistakes, grammar errors. So here is where you need to pay careful attention, because here is how to structure your cover letter. So when it comes to crafting a successful cover letter, structure is very important. And the way you organize and present your information can make a difference in how your application is perceived by hiring managers. So here is how to structure your cover letter. We'll go over the things that you need to include and how to include them. Okay, so we'll start with contact information. Share your contact information in your cover letter at the header section. This is your name, your address, your country and time zone. When sharing your address, give your country and time zone, especially for remote jobs, because some remote jobs are very specific about the time zones they want candidates to be from, for seamless communications and for meetings. So like if the application says they're looking for candidates within this and this time zone, indicate in your cover letter that I am within this time zone. So given the chance to do this job, I will be able to attend to these meetings and do them and not miss out on important communications. You can also add your phone number and your email address. Okay, so this is because sometimes a recruiter or the hiring manager could go through your cover letter and see something that piques their attention. Probably they need clarification on something. So if your contact address, your contacts are there, they can quickly reach out to you and say, I can see you said you've worked for this and this organization. What roles are you doing? They can make a quick follow-up with you using the contact information you've shared. Okay, so make sure to include your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address. But if you're sending it, this applies. So I'm giving tips for both when you're sending a cover letter, a physical cover letter. There's some jobs that probably you could be sending via mail, and there are some that you could be applying online. So if you are sending the application via mail, you can include your phone number and email address. But if it's specifically this application only accepts online applications, I think the email is enough. You can just leave it at that because your phone number is in your CV. Okay, so you also need to include the date. Include the date you are sending the cover letter, just one line below your contact information. Why is the date important? Some jobs, they put a call for application. They publish a job online and they say, if you're interested in this position, apply. They also say that this position will stay open until we get a suitable candidate. Some jobs don't give a deadline for applications. They could get like just 7, and within those 7, they find like 2 or 3 who feel suitable for that job. So they can stop accepting applications after that. So you need to add the date in your cover letter so that hiring managers can see that how soon after they put up the application, you sent yours. It's very important. Sometimes they go with first come, first served. Those who express their interest earlier are considered. So add your date when sending your cover letter. You also want to include the employer's contact information. So you've written your name, your address, and contact details. You've written the date. The next is the contact information of the employer. So include the name, the title, company name, and the address of the person who will review the cover letter. This is usually the hiring manager. So include the name if you have the name. Sometimes applications are sent, they specify address your cover letter to so-and-so who is the hiring manager. But if the name is not there, just say dear hiring manager, and that's enough. Or to the hiring manager, the company, and the address of that organization. Also include a salutation after sharing the address of the contact information of the employer. By salutation, I mean a greeting. Keep it formal. Keep it formal. Sorry. So just say dear hiring manager. that's enough. But if you know the name of the hiring manager, you can include that. So dear recipient's name or dear hiring manager. That salutation is okay. And after that, you can have the opening paragraph. So the opening paragraph of your cover letter, you'll use it to introduce yourself, to state the position you are applying for. You can also mention how you found out about the job and briefly share why you're interested in the position. Okay, so very important. Don't start your cover letter by talking about your skills and experiences. Introduce yourself. I am so and so. I'm applying for this position. I saw your advert for this position in your website, on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to apply because I'm passionate about so and so, and I'd be interested in working in this organization because of this and this and that. Okay, so that's what the opening paragraph should be all about. It shouldn't be long. About 4 to 5 lines is enough. Don't go more than that. Don't go past that. It will be too wordy. Okay, so then we have the body paragraphs. Here we can have 1 or 2, but let's have two paragraphs because we want to segregate, to separate. The first paragraph should talk about your relevant skills and experiences, skills that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. You also want to, that is the first paragraph, and use the second paragraph to share specific examples of how your experience and background aligns with the job requirements. So you can't, I wouldn't advise mixing them into one paragraph. You want to show some order. You want to show how that you know how to structure things. As we say, they're looking at, are you keen? Are you attentive? They also want to see that you know how to communicate about your skills in a professional way. So about 2 paragraphs, highlight your skills, highlight relevant experiences that you have, and the things that make you a strong candidate for the role. And also use the second paragraph to share specific examples of how your knowledge and skills and experiences align with the job that you're applying for. You also want to use this opportunity to show your enthusiasm for the company and the role. Yeah, they're checking, we've seen that they check how motivated you are for that job. So this is just as you are finishing with the second paragraph, show your motivation and enthusiasm for the role for the organization and the role that you're applying for. So that's about the body paragraphs. Then after that, you have the closing paragraph. So in the closing section, reiterate your interest in the position and thank the recruiter for considering your application. It's very important. The recruiter is going through so many applications and you want to appreciate them for taking time to go through your application, to read your CV, okay? So don't just end abruptly and sign off. Take time, thank the recruiter for reviewing your application, and include, this is very important, include a call to action saying that I'm available for a follow-up call or a chat on email if you need more clarifications about my suitability for this role. Okay, so have that call to action so that to keep the recruiter at ease that if the recruiter needs more information, they can reach out to you. So it's important to put that information in the closing paragraph. Okay, so and after that, sign off your cover letter, use a professional closing such as sincerely and add your name. If you're sending a physical cover letter, sign, make sure after the closing, sincerely, and your name, sign your letter. And if you're submitting it online, there's no need for signing, just include your name. You can also add your contact information like your phone number or email to make it easy for the recruiter to reach out to you. We also have, you can also, there's some additional information which is optional. Most of the times when you are writing a cover letter, you also, within that application, you're also sending your resume or other attachments, probably your portfolio. So at the end there, you can say that in this email, I've attached my resume for your review or portfolio as you had requested in the call for applications. So if there's something like that, if you included anything else with your cover letter, make sure to include that information. So, and that's what you should include. Those are the sections of a cover letter. Let me just go over them pretty quickly. So we start with your contact information, your name and address. You can add your phone number and email. The date when you're sending the cover letter, just after your contact information. Also make sure to include the employer's contact details. If you know the name of the hiring manager, you can add that. If you don't, just say hiring manager, and make sure to include the name of the company and the address. Also use a formal salutation, like dear hiring manager, but if dear recipient's name, in this case is the name of the hiring manager. Okay, so then we have our opening paragraph. Use that to introduce yourself and state the position you're applying for. Also, how you found out about the job and why you're interested in that position, briefly. Then we have the body paragraphs, keep them 2. Use the first paragraph to highlight your relevant experiences and skills that make you a strong candidate for the role. Also use the second paragraph to share specific examples of how your background, your skills, your experiences align with the job that you're applying for. You can also add a short line, a short paragraph to show your enthusiasm for the company and for the role you're applying for the company. Okay, so also lastly, a closing paragraph to show your interest in the position, emphasize your interest in that position, and to thank the recruiter for taking time to review your application. Include a call to action, asking the interviewer for a follow-up. Lastly, we have the signature, sign off professionally, use sincerely, and you can add your name after that and your contact information like your email address. And if you have attached anything to that email, please make sure to indicate that I have attached relevant attachments to this email, to this cover letter, like your resume and your portfolio. Briefly, a brief statement. Okay, so we are going to this part 2 of this webinar, which is on tips for crafting a compelling cover letter. And before I share the tips, I have a small quiz for you. And the quiz says, how long should a cover letter be? I know you've written cover letters you've written cover letters applying for jobs. So how long do you think the cover letter should be? So give your answers in the form of pages. How many pages should the cover letter be based on the information that you've shared, the paragraphs that I've included? How long should it be in pages? So use the chat to give your answers and I will review them before we proceed. How long, if you've written a cover letter, how long was it? Was it 1 page? Was it 2 pages? Was it 3 pages? Okay, so let me check up the chat. So Elsie is saying 1 page maximum. Thank you, Elsie. Okay, we have Joseph Makuni, 1 page. Okay, thank you so much, Joseph. Samuel is saying 1 page. Sahu is saying 1 page. Wilson, 1 page. Prince is saying 1 page. Okay, I've seen Elsie. Thomas is saying 1 page. Zainab is saying no more than 1 page, but if you have more than 15 years of experience, it could be 2 pages. Oh, nice take. Thank you so much, Zainab, for sharing. Samuel is saying not more than 1 page. Yes, thank you. Rita is saying 1 page. Amisa is saying 1 page. I can see 1 page is a popular answer. Raulis is saying 3 paragraphs, 1 page. There's nothing that should be needed to be said in more than 1 page. Thank for the added information. Yeah, a cover letter, you don't have so much to talk about. So 3 paragraphs, but three paragraphs can be, how long is the paragraph? That's the question. Are your paragraphs thick? You know, you can have like a whole page being 1 paragraph, but you've specified and said not more than 1 page. So Osfal is saying 1 page. Thank you so much. Mamadou is saying 1 page. And I can see 1 page is a popular answer. So I will leave it at that. If I've not seen your response, don't you worry. We will consider that when assessing your performance in this webinar. So I'll continue. So the answer to that question will come later in this as I share tips on how to write a compelling cover letter. So it will come along the way. So let's get started. So a compelling cover letter can make a significant difference in your job application. So these are the tips to write an effective one. Remember, I've told you about the sections. Okay. Now that you have the sections, how should you craft an applicator, and how should you craft a cover letter within those sections that will increase your chances of you landing the role that you're applying for? 1, research the company and the job. You've come across a job online. They are looking for a candidate, and you feel you are that candidate. You feel you have the skills to do that job well. Before you send your application, research the company. When was this company founded? What do they do? What areas are they passionate about? Their products. Research about the management. Who is the CEO? What do they do? What are their values? It's very important to research the company and the job before applying for a job. Okay. You also need, by researching the job, I mean, take a look at the desired qualifications that the organization is looking for. Take a look at the job, the tasks that you'll be required to do in that job. They will mention it in the job application. See if you have the capacity to deliver in that role. And once you have this information, use that to craft your cover letter. So research the company that you are and the job that you are applying for. This will help you tailor your cover letter to the specific job requirements. Remember, we said they're looking for relevance, and you will make your cover letter relevant to the job that you're applying for by researching more about the company and the job. Also, use a professional format. I've given you the format. I've given you how you should structure the different sections, how long they should be. So use that format. A professional cover letter should have a professional format, which includes a header, your contact information, a salutation, body paragraphs, and a closing. Customize the letter. So tailor your cover letter to the specific job requirements. So when you are writing a cover letter, have the job application, have the job application on one tab so that you can reference to see if what you're saying in your cover letter matches with the job requirements. So use keywords from the job description. Remember, I said keywords in the CV. So you also need to use these keywords in your cover letter and highlight the relevant skills and experiences. Okay, so by keywords, I'm talking about assess the job that you're applying for, what skills are they looking for, and make sure that those terms, those phrases are present in your cover letter, but don't lie. Okay, so if a job is looking for someone who's proficient in let's say, some jobs for this international organization, they need people who can speak different languages. So don't use French. Don't say I can speak French in your cover letter because it's on the job description, yet you don't know how to speak French. So don't lie, but make sure you use keywords that are in the job description in your cover letter. Also highlight your achievements. Use specific examples to show how your skills have led to measurable results in your previous roles. I gave you this tip when crafting your CV. It also applies when you're writing your cover letter. Don't just say, I worked for company XYZ for this number of years. Okay, this shows how much experience you have, but did you deliver in that job? So quantify your achievements. So I worked at this organization, I worked as a sales manager, and in the 2 years I worked for that organization, I increased the sales for this company by 10% year on year, okay? To show that you can deliver. When you quantify your experience, your achievements, it shows that you can deliver. This is what hiring managers are looking for. Also keep it short. A cover letter should be no more than 1 page long. Those who said 1 page are correct. Your cover letter should not be more than 1 page long. Use short paragraphs. If need be, use bullet points to make the letter easy to read. But bullet points is not that important. Just use short paragraphs. You don't want the recruiter or the hiring manager to be bored reading your cover letter. So keep it short, keep it catchy, use punch words, use keywords to draw in the hiring manager and motivate them to read to the end. Also, you want to proofread your cover letter before sending. So before you submit your cover letter, proofread it for grammar and spelling mistakes. You can also ask a friend or a mentor to review your letter for feedback. So before you send, sometimes you're in a rush because you always wait till the deadlines times to send your applications. So work on your application in time, proofread it, ask someone else to do that for you. They'll probably see something that you didn't see. And if this person is your mentor, they can even advise you on what else you can include in this cover letter to increase your chances of getting selected for an interview. Okay, so those are the things that you need to do to create a compelling cover letter. Research the company, use a professional tone, a professional format. I will share a cover letter template with you with a professional format. Also, customize your letter to the job that you're applying for. Assess the requirements, use keywords from the job description to show your skills and experiences, but don't lie. Highlight your achievements, quantify them to show how you can perform given the chance. Also, you want to keep it short. A cover letter should not be more than 1 page. If it goes more than that, you will have to find things to reduce irrelevant things that are not included, that don't need to be included in the cover letter, and remove them. You also need to proofread your letter before submitting it. You can have a mentor check it out. You can have a friend to read it and review it before you can send it. Okay, so now that I've shared what you need to add, what you need to include in your cover letter, let's take a look at what you should not include. Your cover letter is a chance to make a great impression on your potential employers. So there are some things that don't need to be there, and we'll cover them right now. So one thing that doesn't need to be in your cover letter is personal information that isn't related to the job. Okay, so don't start saying, I'm married, I have kids, I need this job because I have a family that I need to take care of. Don't include that information. It's not relevant to the job, and employers don't hire you because you have needs. They hire you because you can deliver on the tasks that are ahead, tasks for that job. So don't include personal information that is not relevant. Also, don't include negative information about previous employers. It's understandable that you're looking for greener pastures or you are previous employers treated you badly, they didn't pay you, sometimes they overworked you, so you didn't feel valued at that job. So don't share negative information at this stage. You can talk that once you learn that job with your new colleagues, you can start sharing this information with them, but not in your cover letter. Also, salary expectations. If it's not demanded in the application, sometimes in your cover letter, they'll ask, include your salary expectations. If they've not specified, don't add it. You can disqualify yourself by quoting a higher amount or quoting a lower amount. So don't include if that has not been asked. Also, don't be too casual in your cover letter, in your application. Maintain a professional tone throughout the cover letter. Don't start signing your cover letter of cheers, buddy. No, that's too casual. There's no harm in using such kind of language, but it's not in a professional environment like this. So keep it professional. Also, avoid general statements that can apply to any job, like saying I'm a hard worker, I'm a critical thinker. Those are general statements. They are outdated. You need to be specific and only use statements, because remember, we are keeping it short, we're keeping it concise. So use statements that are relevant to the job that you're applying for. So that's what not to exclude. You know what to exclude, you know the structure. I believe now you have the skills to write an effective, a compelling cover letter that will land you an interview for the job that you're applying for. So that's it. Our session today was short because a cover letter, there's not so much to share about it. So I'd advise you to take a look at this course, this Baobab course on how to write a cover letter. It's a nice course. It will guide you on, it will explain some of these things in detail, because we only have 1 hour for this session. So there's some things that you need to take time and read on your own. So the link for this course is, I've shared, it's a long one here. I can't read it out, but Gracia will share it on the chat. So this is the English version, how to write a cover letter. It's on Baobab. Register on the platform if you've not yet registered and take this course. The course also has a French version. So those French speakers, you can take this French version of this course and learn more about how to craft a compelling cover letter. So that is the end of our webinar today. And before I take your questions, we will go straight to our quiz. We have a quiz. Our quiz are not that difficult. So the quiz should start any moment from now. We will have about 6 questions. Okay, so how to access the quiz? Yeah, the quiz will pop up in your screen. It's a multiple choice kind of quiz. And the quiz will run only for about 2 minutes. So you can get started with the quiz. The quiz is available in English and French. So don't worry if you don't speak English. The French one is coming up, and it will pop up after the English quiz is done. So please, let's get started with the quiz. I hope it has popped in your screens. If it has not popped on your screens, you can access it. Let me stop sharing. You can access it by clicking on the polls or quizzes button. So click on polls and quizzes if it has not appeared, and it will show up. So let's get to it. Still, no one has taken the quiz. We are 30 of us today. And yeah, can see someone has completed, one person has completed the quiz. Please, 2 people have done that. Please, let's take the quiz. It's not difficult. What's in the quiz is everything in the quiz we've covered in this webinar. So if you're attentive, you'll probably get everything. Okay, thank you so much for all who have taken part in the quiz. just 6 questions. You can see there are some challenging questions where I'm getting people with different answers. I like that. Please read the questions carefully. Don't rush. Some questions are tricky. It may look, several answers may look correct, but there's one that's absolutely correct. So don't rush. Take your time and give the right answer. Also, so the quiz, you will see there are 6 questions. You'll see only 3 will appear on the screen. So you need to scroll down to access the remaining questions. So if you can't access, there's someone was saying that they cannot access all the questions. So scroll down, Irene, please scroll down, and you will see all the questions. If you're having trouble, please share and we'll. Thank you, Irene. I can see you managed to. So 13 people have taken the English quiz. I can see there's some who are waiting for the French quiz. It will come up shortly. So let's see, in the next minutes, we should be ending the English quiz and you can get started on the French quiz. Wilson, have you managed to access the quiz?
Yes, I have.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So the English quiz is ending in 9 seconds. Hopefully you've all had the chance to take the English quiz. The French quiz will pop up shortly. So the French quiz has started. You will give it a few minutes. So if you are you prefer taking the quiz in French, please take the French quiz. It has popped on your screen. If it hasn't, click on more on the bottom part of your screen and click on polls/quizzes. 3 more minutes. So if you need to take the French quiz, please, this is your time. 2 minutes, 47 seconds done. We'll have about 2 more minutes for the French quiz. 7 of you have taken the French quiz. Thank you so much. If you need to take the French quiz, take it now. It will end in about 2 minutes. So what is the purpose? What is the question on? The first question was, what is the purpose of a cover letter? So I can see you all got it right, which is to explain how your skills and experiences align with the job requirements. So this is where it's important to research the job and the company to ensure your cover letter is tailored to that job and it matches with the values of the company that you are applying for. What do recruiters and employers look for in a cover letter? So your hobbies and interests, your personal goals, your relevant skills and experiences, your preferred salary range. The correct answer is your relevant skills and experiences. C. I can see 3 of you said your personal goals. No, that's not correct. The correct answer is they're looking at your skills, relevant skills and experiences. So the answer was C. How should you address the recipient in a cover letter? So the choices were, to whom it may concern, dear sir or madam/madam, dear recipient's name, hey there. Okay, so I can see this was a challenging question with different answers, but the correct answer is dear recipient's name, not dear sir/madam. That salutation is what we used to write 10 years ago. Please, there's no sir/madam anywhere. I address the recipient of a cover letter as dear, their name. If you don't have their name, say dear hiring manager, not dear sir/madam. So the answer is C. What is the recommended length for a cover letter? 1 page. You all got it right. How should you close your cover letter? How should you close your cover letter? So this is another challenging question. So by thanking the hiring manager for their time and consideration, by asking for a higher salary, by expressing your excitement to start the job by listing your personal contact information again. The correct answer is A, by thanking the hiring manager for their time and consideration. I can see two people say expressing your excitement to start the job. No. Excitement to start the job is not for the closing paragraph. It's not how you close. Your excitement to start the job, it should even be excitement to start the job, your enthusiasm for the job. Okay. So the correct answer is by thanking the hiring manager for their time. 4 of you said by listing your personal contact information again. That is not the way you close. So question 6, what should you do before submitting your cover letter? So the questions are proofread it for errors and inconsistencies, have a family member review it, tailor it to the specific job and company. What should you do before submitting your cover letter? This is another question with different answers that feel like correct. So the correct answer for question 6 is read for errors and consistencies. The answer is D. Most of you got it wrong. Yes, you should proofread it for errors. You should have a family member review it. You should also try and tailor it to the specific job and company. So those who said proofread it for errors, that is one of the correct answers. So the answer is D, all of the above. Remember, we said you can have a member review it, a friend or family member or a mentor, and tailor it to the specific, make sure it's tailored to the specific job and company. So those the French, those who are taking the French, is the same questions. I hope you've also gotten to know what the answers were for this quiz. Okay, so that was the quiz. We'll use the performance in this quiz to gauge who will be the winner of our remote opportunities challenge. So we'll get to the questions. I'll start with some questions on the chat. I can see there's a question in the chat that I need to address. One is by, a moment. Bernardo Koth is saying, I joined late. So is it advised to attach a cover letter, yet it's not shown anywhere? Yet it's not shown anywhere. I guess you're saying, should you attach a cover letter? Should you send your cover letter? Let's say you're applying for a job. Should you add your cover letter, yet the application does not state that you need to send one? Yeah, there's some jobs that don't require you to send a cover letter. They just want to send your CV. So if it's not stated that you need to send one, don't send it. Just send what has been asked. Sometimes even the application is online. The job application is online. They just ask questions that you need to answer. So don't send if it has not been asked for. Also, I want to address something by Zainab. Zainab, when we were saying, when we were answering the quiz, the mini quiz on how a cover letter, how long a cover letter should be, she said no more than 1 page, but if you have more than 15 years of experience, it could be 2 pages. Zainab, no, that's wrong. Your cover letter should not be more than 1 page. It doesn't matter how many years of experiences you have. Just make sure you highlight the relevant skills and experiences. Remember, it's about relevance. You can have 15 years of experience, but only 3 of those years are relevant to this job that you're applying for. So in your cover letter, highlight how these 3 years are relevant, how these 3 years are relevant to this job that you're applying for. So don't say that I have 10 years of experiences, 10 years of experience, I can make a cover letter 3 pages long. No, the rule still applies. It should be 1. Find the skills that are relevant to this job and use that to craft your cover letter. So If you have any other question, you can ask in the chat or you can raise your hand to ask in person. Anyone with a question, use the chat if you feel like using the chat. If you need to raise your hand to ask your question, please feel free to do so. Remember, we are using engagement in this chat to gauge our winner for the Remote Opportunities Challenge. So we have a question from Jonas. What is the international format for a cover letter? I don't think there's an international, there's just a format. And the format is the one that I've stated in this webinar. So you start, I'll also be sharing with you a template. So the format is, let me share the template so that I can answer your question, Jonas. So just a moment. Gracia, in the meantime, you can share the link to the templates in the chat. So let me share my screen so that I can explain the template. So I hope my screen is, you can all see my screen. So this is the format of a cover letter. So write your name, write where you're from and the time zone. As I said, for remote jobs, they're looking for people in specific time zones. So make sure to include that. Use Google to find your time zone. Add the date, the name of the hiring manager and the company they work for. You can also add the address down here. Then the salutation is dear hiring manager's name. If you don't know the hiring manager's name, just say dear hiring manager. So the first paragraph, introduce yourself and refer to the remote job you're applying for. Explain why you're applying for the position and why you are excited about joining that company. Here is where you leverage the research that you did. Okay. So that is paragraph 1. Paragraph 2, highlight how your qualifications and experiences align with the job description. Include 1 or 2 brief examples that showcase how you performed in previous roles. Where possible, show how you made a positive impact on your employer, team, and customers. This is also a good place to outline any remote work experience you have. So as you can see, this template is tailored for remote work. Use it. So this is paragraph 1 of the body. Paragraph 2, time to reiterate the value you can add to the company based on the skills outlined. Remember to draw a connection between the situation you've outlined above, specific goals, and the problems the company has identified in the job description or you've identified through research. So remember to use, as I said, keywords in the job description. So this is paragraph 1, this is paragraph 2. You can add a small paragraph here to show what makes you special, what makes you stand out, your competitive advantage. So probably you have you've taken courses, online courses to improve your skills. You can briefly mention that there. So then the closing paragraph, thank the recipient for their time and consideration, then summarize what you've outlined above. So you're passionate about this job, you're excited to get started, but make it a brief closing paragraph. Lastly, include a call to action and say that you look forward for the next stage of the interview or you're available for a call should the recruiter need more clarification about your suitability for that role. Then sign off sincerely, your name, contact information here. So that's a 1-page cover letter. So this template is available for you to use. This cover letter, I hope, let me see if I've shared it. Yeah, let me just check. So you want to, let me stop sharing. Also, yeah, so that's the format that you need to use for your CV, for your cover letter. So let me share the link here. So remember, I created a drive where I'll be sharing these resources. I shared the CV template. So here's the drive. I think if you can't access it, just let me know when I'll get a notification on my end and I will give you access. So this drive has the link to the CV cover letter, to the CV and cover letter templates. So if you cannot access it, please let me know and I will give you access. So there's another question here. So Saharu is saying, how will you tailor a cover letter when you have no experience for the job, but you have the skills? Okay, so let's say you are applying for a job as a software engineer. You haven't worked as a software engineer, but you've taken the classes in software engineering and you feel you have the skills. So with your cover letter, you should mention that you are a beginner, you don't have any experience, but you can, in this case, you can share the projects that you've done, you can share your portfolio, because I believe if you have the skills for this job that you're applying for, you've done something about it, you've created a website, you've done something with the skills that you have. You've not just been acquiring knowledge without applying it anywhere. So show how you've applied the skills that you have. If you've been working as a freelancer, you can share that, because it also counts, because you've used your skills somewhere profitably to benefit another person. So don't be scared if you don't have experience. There are some jobs that are entry level and they're looking for people who have the skills, not necessarily a big amount of experience. But if you don't have the experience, share how much the level of skill that you possess in that particular job. Are you intermediate? Are you entry level? Are you experienced? But in this case, you probably enter entry level. So make sure you highlight that in your application. You don't want to raise their hopes that you have experience, yet you've just acquired the skills. So show how you've used the skills that you've acquired in your CV, and share, if you have links, if you have probably a portfolio, share that with in the cover letter, and make sure to include that in the end, that I've attached other things, attachments for your consideration. Okay, so Amisa Debra is asking, if you're applying for a remote job and you're asked to submit your CV, can you include the cover letter in addition as well? No, don't include the cover letter, because I believe they have a reason why they only want the CV. Probably the hiring manager is lazy and doesn't want to read cover letters. So don't give them extra work. It can make them angry and they may not consider your application. So if they specifically said they only want the CV, don't send the cover letter. Okay, Bernard is saying, regarding the format, can we add our availability at the moment? I don't think you need to add your availability, because if you're applying for a job, I think you really need it at the moment. You cannot be applying for a job when you'll be available in a month's time. Okay, so it's assumed that if you're applying for a job, you are available to take that job should you get the position. So there's no need to include that, because it means if you are applying, you are available. So I hope I've answered your question, Bernard. Thank you so much. Yes. Bernard is saying, is it advisable to attach a colored cover letter or attach a photo? Please don't do that. Just send a simple cover letter. What they're looking for is the information you're presenting. They're interested in your skills, unless you're applying for, let's say, a job as a graphic designer, and you want to stand out. You want to show that I'm the guy. You can use cover letter that has been enhanced somehow, but a simple one will do. What they're after is to see how you present, to see that you have the skills to do the job that they've advertised. Okay, thank you so much, Bernard, for your question. Hope I've answered it. Rita is asking if the CV is available in English. Yes, it's in English. There's also The CV is also available in French. So we have a template in English and a template for French. So the links, Gracia has shared the links in the chat. Please check out the chat right now. Take those links. I will also add them in the drive for our resources for these workshops. So, but they're there on the chat right now. There's an English version and a French version. So don't be scared that your language has not been taken care of. We have templates for both in English and French. Also, I wanted to let you know that if you can reach me on my email or on LinkedIn if you need assistance with anything, my email is melvinmuna, my name, @gmail.com. And let me just write it quickly on the chat. If you have any questions, just reach out and I will help you where I can. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Melvin Muna. So that's my email. My LinkedIn is Melvin Muna. If you have any questions, you can ask me at any time. Okay, so if you don't have any question, I would like to thank everyone for showing up for this webinar. It has been a pleasure to have all of you here. And I want to invite you, we'll have another session 3 weeks from now. This one will be on how to tailor your LinkedIn profile. And remember that jobs are not just, you also need your LinkedIn profile to present your professional skills and capabilities. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your information. Thank you for participating in our quizzes, in our chats, in our engagements, and stay blessed. I will see you in 3 weeks' time.